You wake up on a fresh morning and your bank balance blank, and so is everyone else's. Everyone is free. Suddenly, the thing holding the world together disappears. Your mind races at the possibility of things you can do now, but disappearance of money might not be how you imagine it to be, but it might be the start of the biggest adventure we've ever had as humans. What if humanity woke up with no money? Imagine waking up tomorrow and every dollar, every euro, every rupee has simply vanished. Not stolen, not burned, just gone. Your bank balance shows nothing. Every price tag is blank. What happens next might surprise you. Money disappearing isn't just numbers erasing from screens. It's the entire language we use to value things suddenly going silent. Think about it like this. Money is basically society's scoreboard. When you buy coffee, you're not really trading paper for beans. You're using a shared measuring stick that everyone agrees means something. It's why a baker can trade bread for a haircut without actually finding a barber who wants bread right now. The money bridges that gap. But here's the thing, money only works because we all believe in it. There's no magic power in a dollar bill, it's just paper with fancy printing. The real power is the collective agreement that this paper represents value. So when that agreement vanishes overnight, we're not just losing currency, we're losing the entire system that lets 8 billion people cooperate without knowing each other. Your alarm goes off at 7. You check your banking app out of habit. Instead of your savings, there's just a zero. Actually, there's not even a zero, because the concept of zero implies measurement, and money was our measuring tool. You'd assume it's a glitch. Restart the app, check another account. Then your phone starts buzzing. Messages flooding in. Everyone's seeing the same thing. You flip on the news. Genuine confusion in the anchor's voice. Every financial institution, every government treasury, every cryptocurrency wallet, all of it reading nothing. Not hacked, not crashed, just erased. By 8, the stock market attempts to open, but it doesn't crash. It just stops. Stock prices are numbers denominated in money. Without money, saying Apple stock is worth X becomes meaningless. It's like trying to measure distance after someone deleted the concept of meters. The world doesn't collapse instantly. It stutters. The first 24 hours feel confusing more than chaotic. Electricity is on. Water flows. People still go to work, not because they're being paid, but because habits are powerful. That power plant operator shows up at 6. The nurse starts her shift. Systems in motion stay in motion. You walk into a grocery store. Shelves stocked, but every price tag is blank. The cashier looks at you. Now what? When Hurricane Katrina hit, researchers found most people were cooperating and helping strangers. Humans default to cooperation in disasters. So you'd see a mix. Some store owners locking doors, others saying, take what you need. But beneath this strange normalcy, a question builds. That power plant operator, that nurse, they keep going on momentum. One day, then 2, but slowly they realize no paycheck is coming. Their families need food. What's this system for anymore? And that's where the real story begins. These essential workers have shown up even in disasters. After Hurricane Ida hit Louisiana, water treatment operators worked around the clock despite damage at their homes, clearing roads just to reach facilities. But how long does that last when there's no end in sight? Infrastructure operates on tight margins. Hospitals use just-in-time inventory, receiving supplies almost daily. When Katrina or COVID hit, they were scrambling within days. In our scenario, there's no replenishment. A typical hospital has 3 to 5 days of insulin, saline, medications. After that, fumes. And who's delivering supplies? Truck drivers who need to eat, working for companies that can't pay them, needing diesel that gas stations can't purchase. Power grids are more fragile. Coal and gas plants need constant fuel. Nuclear plants are better. Fuel lasts months, but need constant monitoring. If technicians stop showing up after a week, what happens? By day 3 or 4, you'd see brownouts, intermittent water, spotty internet, a machine with thousands of parts grinding to a halt one by one. Corporations face an existential crisis. Their purpose is profit, measured in money. What does Amazon do when that becomes meaningless? These companies still have warehouses and employees, but the organizing principle evaporated. In Amazon warehouses, some workers might stay if managers promise first access to food and supplies. Others walk out. Who controls that warehouse now? Jeff Bezos' billions were mostly stock, now worthless, but he still owns land and mansions. The ultra-wealthy lose financial power but retain property. Can they convince anyone to work? Some might try force security for food. Others might create cooperatives where workers get products for labor, but why would anyone listen to them? You might think, we'll just barter. But ancient societies didn't rely on barter. Anthropologists have searched and found almost nothing. Early humans used debt and credit based on relationships. Help me build my house, I'll help harvest your crops. An invisible ledger in memory and social bonds. Barter has the double coincidence of wants problem. You're a dentist needing a haircut. You meet a barber with a toothache right now. What if the barber thinks their haircut is worth 2 fillings? An engineer who designs bridges, what does she trade for groceries? In 2008, Zimbabwe hyperinflation hit 70 to 9.6 billion% monthly. People didn't barter. They used US dollars. But in our scenario, there's no alternative currency. What emerges? First week, informal sharing networks. Your neighbor has rice, you have vegetables. But quickly, certain items become stand-in currencies. In prisons, cigarettes. In post-World War II Germany, cigarettes, chocolate, coffee. You'd see canned food, batteries, medicine, fuel become standards. But it's incredibly inefficient. This is why money was invented. Governments would scramble, some try to create new currencies, but money needs trust. You can't force belief. Others might try rationing like World War II, but that requires massive bureaucracy. The interesting question is debt. Mortgages, student loans, credit cards, denominated in money that doesn't exist. The debt would be erased. The largest wealth transfer in history. Student loans, clean slate. Family losing their home? It's theirs. But anyone owed money would be devastated. Retirees depending on pensions, gone. People who saved their whole lives, retirement funds evaporated. Young people liberated. Older people crushed. The resentment would be palpable. For most people, the initial period would be terrifying. No more mortgage payment sounds great until there's no more paycheck, no groceries, no gas. Within weeks, communities would split. Some neighborhoods would organize beautifully. Block captains emerging, community kitchens forming, skills exchanges where the electrician fixes your wiring and you help with childcare. After major disasters, this is what actually happens. Humans are remarkably good at local cooperation when systems collapse. Dense cities with millions of strangers would struggle more than small towns. Crime would spike in these areas, not because humans are evil, but because without social bonds, there's nothing preventing someone from taking what they need by force. Without money, certain power evaporates. The billionaire with 100 billion now has the same as someone with 100. Nothing. Crime shifts dramatically. Fraud becomes pointless. No Ponzi schemes without money. Financial crimes would cease to exist. But property crime and violence would spike as people compete for resources. After 2 to 3 weeks, patterns would emerge. Communities that organized well would stabilize and develop informal currencies based on essential goods. Coastal towns might use fish, agricultural areas, grain. Cities, canned goods or batteries. You'd also see something like feudalism return. People with land and resources would attract workers by offering security and food. Your local farm owner with tractors and seeds suddenly becomes extremely powerful. They offer workers a share of the harvest for labor. It looks more like medieval serfdom than modern employment. Technology would regress strangely. Your smartphone works, but half the apps are useless. No new iPhones. Your phone works until it breaks. Hospitals would face impossible choices with dwindling supplies, operating like field hospitals in war zones. Eventually, humans would reinvent money. The problem money solves, enabling strangers to cooperate and exchange value, doesn't go away. You might see multiple competing currencies emerge, all attempts to anchor new money to something tangible that won't vanish overnight. Some governments might launch new currencies, but they'd need to build trust from scratch. They'd probably back it with something concrete. $1 new equals 1 kilogram of grain, essentially a gold standard but with practical commodities. The generation that lived through it would never forget. They'd be more skeptical of abstract financial systems, focused on tangible assets and real skills. If money vanished, we wouldn't collapse or reach utopia. We'd adapt, fracture, rebuild imperfect systems because money is just a useful agreement, and the real question is whether, given the chance to start over, we choose something better or simply recreate what we know. A world without money sounds freeing until you realize how much of your life you've already invested. That's the sunk cost fallacy. I made a video about it, it's on the screen.